You're listening to Systemic Era Podcast. The failure was designed.
Trump betrayed MAGA, and it wasn't an accident by Thom Hartmann. Dear MAGA voter, I'm not writing this to mock you. I'm writing because you were lied to, and it wasn't by the people you were told to hate, but by the man you trusted the most. You were pissed off when you voted in 2024. Honestly, rightfully angry. Your town lost its factory. Your kids can't afford the house they've been dreaming of for years. The politicians in Washington kept promising you things and delivering nothing. In fact, Republicans even took away your Medicaid and food stamps as well as your kids' school lunches. You wanted someone who'd finally blow the whole damn thing up and put regular people first. So did I and millions of other Americans. The difference is who we trusted to do it. Let's talk about what actually happened. You were told Donald Trump would drain the swamp of corruption in Washington, D.C. Instead, as former Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene can tell you, Trump has built the most corrupt, billionaire-stuffed cabinet, 13 of them, in American history. Epstein buddy Howard Lutnick, billionaire hustler Scott Bessent, hedge fund managers and Wall Street insiders as far as the eye can see. And then he handed the core agencies of the federal government, with no vote, no vetting, no accountability to anyone, over to Elon Musk, the single richest human being on the planet, not a populist or a Washington outsider, the most powerful oligarch alive, whose wealth came from Barack Obama bailing out Tesla and who now gets tens of billions in annual government contracts. Musk's teenage hackers stole your Social Security information and destroyed America's soft power by gutting USAID. As Bill Gates said, the picture of the world's richest man killing the world's poorest children is not a pretty one. This is your swamp now, one that's already literally killed at least 1 million children around the world while handing our nation's soft power over to Vladimir Putin. Trump also said there would be no more stupid wars. Yet he's spending $1 billion a day and has already destroyed 6 American lives over his attack on Iran and still can't explain to us why he did it or what actual threat that country represented to America. It appears he just did it because Putin, Benjamin Netanyahu, and Jared Kushner all encouraged him to. And now the Washington Post is reporting that Putin is giving the Iranians targeting information so they can kill American troops. Just like when Putin put a bounty on U.S. soldiers in Afghanistan, and that was fine with Trump during his first term. Is that the kind of war you want? Somehow I doubt it. You were also promised lower drug prices. Remember that? Trump made it a centerpiece of his campaign pitch. He looked straight into the camera and said he'd take on Big Pharma. But the pharmaceutical industry is making more money than ever before. And now the same Republican Congress that cheers Trump's every move has cut $1 trillion out of Medicaid. The cuts come later this year. That's the national healthcare program that covers roughly 1 in 5 Americans, the majority of them in rural, working-class communities that voted for the same Republicans who gutted it on Trump's orders. Your neighbors, your family members, people who believed in him. Cuts made simply to pay for $1 trillion of Trump's $5 trillion tax break for himself, Mark Zuckerberg, Musk, Jeff Bezos, Larry Ellison, and the other billionaires who put him into office. And then there's the tariffs, which he told you China would pay. But China isn't paying, you are. Tariffs are taxes collected at the border and paid by American importers, that are then passed on to American consumers like you and me. The people most exposed to rising prices on clothes, appliances, groceries, and cars are working-class families who spend a higher share of their income on the necessities of life. That's you. The billionaires in his cabinet can absorb and even profit from Trump's inflation. You can't. And while all this is happening, the national debt keeps exploding. It ballooned by $7 trillion during his first term. His second-term tax proposals are deficit-financed giveaways that only benefit corporations and the ultra-wealthy. Trump talks about no taxes on tips and no taxes on Social Security, but those cuts are very, very limited and expire in a few years. The tax breaks on billionaires are deep and last forever. Your grandchildren will spend their lives paying off Trump's tax cuts for people who summer in the Hamptons. This isn't fiscal conservatism. It's looting dressed up in a red hat. Remember the wall? Mexico was going to pay for it. Mexico didn't pay for a single inch of it. And remember when Musk publicly defended keeping H-1B visas, the program Trump uses to import European workers for his shabby golf motels and that let corporations import cheaper foreign labor and hold down American wages? That caused a genuine civil war inside MAGA world for about a week, before the Murdoch/Ellison-Epstein-class billionaire media moguls changed the subject. Trump sided with the billionaires. Being one himself, he always sides with the billionaires. Don't forget Social Security and Medicare. He swore, repeatedly, explicitly, that he'd never cut them. Watch what the fine print says, particularly since he fired more than 7,000 Social Security workers to make it really hard on people who are trying to sign up. That's about encouraging people to move to the Medicare Advantage scam plans that are so profitable to his insurance industry donors. Watch what Doge is circling. Watch the budget proposals coming out of his own party's Congress. The cuts aren't coming for the people at Mar-a-Lago, they're coming for you. And perhaps the cruelest irony of all, the communities hit hardest by Trump's policies are the communities that supported him most. Farmers crushed by retaliatory tariffs from trading partners. Rural hospitals dependent on federal funding now facing existential pressure. FEMA cuts hurting people in bright red southern states. The economic pain is landing heaviest on the people who believed in him the most. None of this is an accident. This is what happens when you elect a pathological liar who talks like a populist but governs for the donor class. Your anger was real. His betrayal is real. I'm not asking you to become a Democrat. I'm not asking you to agree with me about anything except this. A man who fills his cabinet with hedge fund managers, hands power to the world's richest oligarch, lets Big Pharma walk, starts a war to distract us from news he raped 13-year-old girls, and watches your grocery bill climb while calling it victory is not on your side. He never was. The swampy system you were furious at, it's still there. It just has a new dear leader. You deserve better than this. Heck, we all deserve better than this. Join us. Thom Hartmann is a New York Times best-selling author and Sirius XM talk show host. His Substack can be found here.
Our analysis, The Bitter Pill of Betrayal, a deep dive into MAGA disillusionment. In a striking piece by Thom Hartmann, we're given a raw glimpse into the heart of MAGA country's betrayal. Hartmann doesn't mince his words. He lays bare the truths many have chosen to ignore or rationalize away. This isn't just a wake-up call. It's a siren blaring in the night, urging those disillusioned by Trump's promises to take stock of the reality that's unfolded before them. The mirage of draining the swamp. Donald Trump's promise to drain the swamp of corruption in Washington, D.C. became the rallying cry for those fed up with the status quo. Yet, what happened was not a draining but a refilling of the swamp with even murkier waters. The inclusion of figures like Marjorie Taylor Greene in the narrative signals the depth of the swamp's expansion, not its reduction. Trump's cabinet, a veritable who's who of billionaires and Wall Street insiders, stands in stark contrast to his populist campaign rhetoric. The Musk conundrum. Elon Musk's elevation to a central role in Trump's administration is perhaps the most glaring contradiction of the populist promise. Musk, the single richest human being on the planet, is hardly the outsider Trump voters believed would champion their cause. His wealth, partly amassed through government contracts, and the controversies surrounding the misuse of Social Security information, paint a picture of an oligarchy, not a democracy of the people. War, tariffs, and the big pharma boondoggle. Hartmann deftly points out the hollow nature of Trump's promises to avoid stupid wars and lower drug prices. The escalation with Iran, influenced by foreign powers, and the unchanged, if not worsened, stranglehold big pharma has on the American people underscore a betrayal of Trump's commitment to his base. The economic shell game. The article exposes the sleight of hand involved in Trump's economic policies. Tariffs, sold as a measure to make China pay, have instead taxed American consumers. The tax cuts benefiting the wealthiest at the expense of the working class and the explosion of national debt reveal a fiscal policy that's anything but conservative. It's a plunder of the nation's economic future, Social Security, Medicare, and the wall that never was. Trump's actions regarding Social Security and Medicare stand in direct opposition to his promises. The reduction in Social Security workers and the push towards Medicare Advantage plans are moves that benefit Trump's donors, not the American people. And the wall, a promise so brazenly broken it's become emblematic of Trump's tenure. Big talk, no follow-through, with the cost borne by those who believed in him most. The conclusion, a call to reality. Hartmann doesn't just criticize, he extends an invitation. This isn't about switching party allegiances, but about recognizing a con for what it is. The piece isn't merely an analysis, it's a plea for self-reflection among those who have been most hurt by Trump's policies. Thom Hartmann's article isn't just a recounting of failures and betrayals, it's a mirror held up to the MAGA movement, asking them to see the truth of what's been done in their name. It's sharp, it's scathing, and it's grounded in the painful reality of those who have seen their hopes exploited by a man who promised to fight for them but ended up fighting only for himself and his wealthy compatriots. In the end, Hartmann's message is clear. The real swamp wasn't drained. It was expanded and deepened, filled with new monsters preying on the hopes of the disaffected. And it's time for those who were deceived to recognize this, not to deepen political divides but to heal them with the acknowledgement of a shared reality. You've been listening to Systemic Error. Thanks to Ross Story for today's article, with the automated voices of Amy and Ryan. Thanks for listening.